Let's get more on the floods in South Africa. President Ramaphosa has blamed climate change for the intense rainfall and said South Africa could no longer postpone dealing with global warming. Well, to discuss this, we're joined now from Liberia by Dr. Mao Amos, Executive Director of the African Centre for a Green Economy. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Mike, for having me.
We heard in Chingai's report a month's worth of rain in a single day, washing lives away. What do you find most surprising about these floods compared to earlier floods like this?
Well, Mark, first of all, I would like to commiserate with the victims of this flood in Durban for the loss of life and loss of property. And I just wanted to say that the impact of this flooding is going to last for a very long time, especially considering that we're just recovering from the pandemic, COVID, 2 years of lockdown. In many respects, for us who have been working in this climate space are not surprised because, all the climate predictions clearly show that extreme events like flooding and flooding over time is going to basically, the intensity and the frequency is going to increase. And if you look at Durban, for example, we have had a similar incident in 2017, 2019, and now, and increasingly the number of victims has been higher, the intensity of rainfall has been high, and so in many respects, it's not surprising that it has been so devastating.
That's right, isn't it? If we look at the region, 3 cyclones, 2 tropical storms in 6 weeks at the beginning of the year, covering Madagascar, Mozambique and Malawi. Is that what Southern Africa's worry is from climate change, this kind of heavy rainfall?
Yes, the predictions for Southern Africa show that, there will be extreme rainfall and in some cases, things like flooding and also drought in some cases. So it's extreme events that will happen. And unfortunately, I would say that the level of preparedness is not up to scratch it. And that's why, even though for places like Durban, we know that these floods happen, but when they occur, like they did this week, most of the time people are basically caught unprepared.
And poor infrastructure, as you say, doesn't help, does it? I mean, we're hearing about damaged property, crocodiles on the loose, cell phone towers down. This is a test for the local authorities too, isn't it?
Absolutely. Most South African cities do have some level of climate change strategy or plan and so on. But in most cases, those plans have not been translated into specific, strategies that could be implemented with a budget and so on. And so what happens is that instead of maintaining infrastructure like stormwater drainage systems and so on, they are not maintained. And so when an incident like this happens, the impact is like what we've seen.
Dr. Mao Amos, Executive Director of the African Centre for a Green Economy, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.